Hey guys, welcome to Finance Friday Facebook Live. I'm your host, Stacy Johnson. I'm playing music. I thought I'd play music today. Is that cool? Can you guys hear it? Can't hear it at all? Maybe you just hear my microphone. But anyway, let me introduce myself. Stacy Johnson. I started Money Talks News in 1991. And I have earned licenses in securities, commodities, options principal, securities supervisor, real estate, life insurance, blah, blah, blah. And the reason oh, good. You can hear the music and me. That's good. Anyway, the reason I have to introduce I'm sorry if you already heard that introduction before, but I have to do that because we have so many new people every week. We are literally, did you know that we're the fastest growing Facebook group? We're not, actually. I have no idea whether we are or not. But anyway, we are growing really fast. And the reason why we're growing really fast is because of you guys. And so I want to take a minute to say thank you. You're telling your friends, you're telling your family about our Facebook group or maybe moneytalksnews.com. And I really, really, really appreciate it because I know that without you, there is no us. So I appreciate it. Keep spreading the word. Now we're going to answer whatever questions you have. I've got a few topics I can bring up if we have a lull, but I'm going to answer any questions that you have, and they can be anything. Is Brad Pitt related to you? You look just like him. What's that troll over your shoulder? No, really, you can ask me any question that you want, and I'll try to get to it at the time that we have. Oh, we don't have anybody commenting yet, though. Well, that's okay. I'll just start doing my thing, and maybe people will join us. One of the things I wanted to talk about today was 5 things that are dumb purchases that people maybe they're retired, maybe they're not retired, just stupid things people spend money on. And one of the things, and this really does apply to people who are of a certain age, and that is timeshares. I did consumer and personal finance this. Oh wait, I just got notice that my music is too loud, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Anybody know who that is? I've seen this band. They're very good. It's Maroon 5. There, that's slower. Okay, what's that troll over your shoulder? I will show you this troll over my shoulder. I got this for my birthday. It's just sitting there, and I thought it'd be funny, so I left it. Okay, stupid investments, timeshares. I was a consumer reporter. I was on 80 TV stations for 30 years, and I would talk about timeshares a lot because they are literally the stupidest thing that you can possibly put your money into. I mean, nothing is universally true, but this is damn close. Timeshares are a horrible purchase. They're worth virtually nothing after you purchase them. I mean, oh, okay, now I'm getting a notice I should turn off my music. Well, gosh. Okay. Now it's going to be a little boring, but I'll go ahead. Anyway, if you have a timeshare, you probably know what I'm talking about. They're like, you know what? They're kind of like a marriage or a car lease because they're super easy to get into and really hard to get out of. But if you're tempted to buy a timeshare or sell one for that matter, I would urge you to go to a TUG. It's called Timeshare Users Group. Just look it up, Timeshare Users Group. And you might be able to buy a timeshare on there for a penny because people owe money on them and they're just trying to get out of them. So don't ever buy a timeshare retail. If you want to get a timeshare, buy it used because some people will pay you to take them. Because what happens is you're getting this maintenance fee every month and it goes up every year. And you have to pay that even if you're free and clear on the timeshare. And those things can get really expensive. Anyway, I hate them. Please don't buy a timeshare. And if you are going to, buy one used. Buy one from somebody who's trying to get out of it. Okay, now, and by the way, if you do have the, oh, that was right, Natalie. That was Adam Levine. Anyway, if you have a question, do me a favor too, and put a few question marks in front of it so that my old eyes can pick out the question from all the comments and stuff like that, okay? Well, what is this? Adam Pierce played at Adam Levine's house for Halloween? No way! Nice. Cool. I would like to, we've seen Maroon 5 a couple of times. I'd like to see him again. Anyway, especially at my house. So that's a really dumb thing to do with money. Have you guys bought timeshares or know somebody who has? I mean, I've talked to lots of people who have. In fact, my sister bought a timeshare many years ago. My wife's uncle, who died with 2 timeshares, now her parents use those. Anyway, and so there can be useful, but I wouldn't buy one. How about this? Car leases. Now, to me, and there are exceptions to this rule, I think car leases are kind of dumb. I've never had one. I always pay cash for cars, and I don't buy new cars. But anyway, with a car, what a car lease really does for a lot of people, maybe not for everyone, but for a lot of people, what they do is they allow you to afford a car you otherwise wouldn't be able to afford. Why? Because you're just financing a part of it. And so car leases can be kind of a waste of money to me. Now, there could be exceptions, but I would rather, the best way or the least expensive way to own a car is to A, buy it used, and then B, drive it until the wheels fall off. So, to me, car lease is not a thing. Oh, where's the Emmy? The Emmys. I usually have Emmys sitting on the desk. Well, I was just going to grab them and put them over there, but I'm not going to. Anyway, they're there. Is that Keith Christopher? Hey, Keith. How are you, buddy? Anyway, Keith is a famous DJ. He's on our thread today. He lives in Jacksonville. Anyway, so I'm not a fan of car leases. I'm looking for questions now. What if you have a business? Would you recommend leasing a car? I'm not a fan of leasing a car, period. If you have a business, you use your car for business, you can own it and still depreciate it. You're still going to get a write-off either way. There can be some tax advantages to leasing, but generally speaking, not a good thing to do. Because essentially, again, what you're trying to do is you're trying to drive a more expensive car than you can afford. Right? I mean, isn't that what people are doing when they lease? So like I said, not universally true, but I'm not a fan. Okay. Yes, and using it as tax write-off, yes. But you can use it, you can write off your car either way. How do you feel about your LLC owning your assets? Keith Christopher says. Keith, I thought you were just a music guy. I don't have an LLC. I have a subchapter S corporation, and I feel good about it. I use the subchapter S corporation for basically liability limitation purposes, which is what an LLC does too. So I feel good about and I don't have a lot of assets in my company anyway. We don't have cars and cranes and, stuff like that. All we have is stuff like this. Okay. Now a third thing that I think is a dumb buy is gambling. Now, again, if gambling's fun for you, then you should gamble. But I don't think gambling is a smart thing to do. And you can tell why too, because if you walk into a casino, and I've walked into lots of them, you'll notice how opulent they are. They're giving away stuff sometimes. They give you drinks, they'll give you food, they'll give you rooms even if you spend enough money. Well, the reason these palaces are so grand is because they make more money. I mean, you lose more than you make, and they get that profit. By the way, same thing you could say about walking into a giant bank building. Why do they have these skyscrapers? Because they're taking your money in the form of interest and they're building palaces with it. But, gambling is obviously not, some people are good at it. In fact, I have a good friend who's practically a professional gambler. And it can be fun. But is it a good use of money? Probably not. Okay. Do you invest in real estate as well? Yes, I do. In fact, it's not that making $1 million in real estate is all that difficult if you're as old as I am, but yeah, I made a lot of money in real estate. In fact, I've owned rental properties, and right now I own, I think 15 acres of commercial land in Tucson, Arizona, where I used to live. But I've done lots of real estate investing, and I think real estate's every bit as good as stocks. And in a way, it's easier because with real estate, it's not in the newspaper every day, so you're not tempted to jump in and out of it, and the transaction costs are high. So in other words, to me, there's an inverse relationship between the length of time you hold something and the amount of money you make from it. In other words, the shorter your time horizon, the harder it is to make money. Real estate forces you to have a long time horizon. And unless you make a huge mistake, you're probably going to come out okay in the long run. And when I say make a huge mistake, buying real estate in a population center that's decreasing. If people are losing jobs, real estate's not a good thing to do. But if you're in an area like where I live, South Florida, or Tucson, where I used to live, where the population is growing and jobs are growing, you're probably not going to go wrong owning some real estate, especially if you shop it around and buy the right stuff. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Just say no to gambling, Natalie says. She's right. Have you ever heard of a short note lending and fractional real estate investing? Yeah, we have sponsors who do these types of businesses. Short notes are basically when a contractor needs to borrow $1 million to build an apartment complex. He needs the money for a year until he finishes it. And then you get paid interest, you get your money back. And yeah, that can be a good investment. And it can be done through these partnerships where you don't have to put up a lot of money. In other words, you don't have to put up $1 million, you put up $500 and participate in something like that. And what's the other thing? Fractional, same thing. So these are really popular now. They're where everybody pools their money and then buys giant apartment units. This used to be, they buy all different kinds of commercial buildings, actually. These used to be done by limited partnerships back when I was an investment advisor in the 80s. And the fees were high and the results weren't that good. But now there's a lot of these things and you could get in some of these as little as $10. And so they could be a good thing to do too. I certainly advise you to own some real estate. And if you don't want to do it directly, doing it indirectly in a vehicle like that is a good idea. And Gary says, are you talking about real estate funds or buying houses? Both. I mean, I personally have not invested in a real estate fund. I have bought houses and I bought apartments and I bought raw land. And I had a partner in all of this who's, like many people, smarter than me. So he helped develop the land. So I personally not invested in one of these fractional things, but I would, and I might. But right now I've got enough real estate on my own without doing that, so I haven't. And also REITs too, real estate investment trust. This is like a stock on the New York Stock Exchange, but it also owns real estate. What are good ways to lower income taxes? This is a tough subject for me, lowering income taxes, because I find myself, it used to be real estate was a good way to lower your income taxes because depreciation is something that isn't, okay, let me put it this way. You buy a house for $100,000 and you get to depreciate that house because essentially it has a 20-year useful life, say. So therefore, it's worth less on paper, $5,000 a year, right? 20 years, $5,000, $100,000. So now you've got the money to replace it because of the tax write-off. But what happens in real life? That thing's worth $300,000. So you've gotten a tax write-off as if the property went down in value, but it didn't go down in value. It went up in value. And that's why so many people invest in real estate and why real estate can be a tax haven. However, now it's gotten harder to do because of the tax laws. I bought the house next door to me back in, it's been 10 years ago now, I think. And we bought it for $300. I bought it with a friend of mine. We bought it for $350 and sold it for $625. But we didn't get to write off that depreciation because of the amount of income that we had. In other words, the rules are tighter now. Now, and then getting back to things, the only thing I can do now to lower my taxes personally is put money in retirement plans. I mean, there's just not really that many things you can do. And what pisses me off is that billionaires have all kinds of stuff that they can do that we can't do. That's why somebody like Donald Trump or hedge fund managers often pay little or no taxes. And because they're using vehicles I don't have access to. And that pisses me off. So anyway, the single easiest and best way is to put money in a retirement plan, either at work. I have a defined benefit plan through my company where I can write off a lot, but getting tax breaks is difficult. I also keep money in municipal bonds, which are tax free. And I live in Florida, which doesn't have state income taxes. So I do that to reduce my taxes, but great scheme of things, doesn't really help a lot. I pay a lot in tax, and it kind of bumps me out too. Let's see what else do we have. What do you think about investing in a lithium company pre-IPO? I'd have to know way more about it. I mean, investing in anything like that is going to be risky, no matter what. I mean, I'd have to go over the financials, and I'd have to know who the principals are. People who run companies are almost as important as the financials on a company. So, I mean, theoretically, lithium sounds like it'd be a good investment because, obviously batteries, but I would have to know a lot more about it before I do that. And with the getting into a company before it goes public, it's literally how you can become super rich. If you've got the connections and you get the inside, but a lot of these companies go bankrupt too. So there's a heck of a lot of risk in it. Let's see. Do we have anything else here? I don't see any more questions. Okay, now, so I'll go ahead then and talk about some more stupid things that people do with money. How much time do we have? Well, I don't know where my stopwatch went now. It's so annoying. Anyway, you guys can tell me when I'm almost done. Subscription services. Do you guys have a lot of subscriptions that you pay for, and you can't even figure out how to get out of them? I don't, but you know who does? My wife. She does this a lot. She'll do these meal things. And then I hope she's not watching. She could be. Anyway, she'll do these meal things, and then she tries them. Oh, we don't like them so much. But then she forgets to take, and then they show up again on the front porch. These meals she gets these surprise boxes. And I mean, we all do this though, right? I mean, as a matter of fact, my cable bill is hugely high, and there's services on there I no longer use, but all I have to do is call them up and cancel it. I haven't done it. And, this stuff keeps going. And so I'm really, really careful when I sign up for something that's going to commit me over periods of time, because I'm just not very good at calling people up and stopping the service. And sometimes it's hard to stop the service. You can't even find out how to do it. And I believe, I don't want to say anything wrong, but I think that my wife had, what's the Amazon thing that allows you to download books or listen to books? I think she bought that and couldn't figure out how to get out of it. I forgot what it's called now. Anyway, here's another thing too. Let me make sure we have no other questions so far. Oh, retired. Worth doing IRA conversion to Roth? Could be. Yeah. I wish most of my retirement plans are, I'm getting a deduction for putting money in other words, non-Roth, traditional. And I wish I had some Roth, because now I'm 69 years old and I might want to retire sometime. And then I'd like to have some money I could take out without having to pay tax on it. So I think it depends on what your specific situation is, but it could be worth looking into to get a Roth. And then you can take money out, especially if you're in a low tax bracket now and expect to be in a higher one later. And actually, we had a guy on a podcast not long ago who's an expert at Roths. And he basically said, if you don't do a Roth, you're an idiot. And the reason why, and what I said to him was, I want to get the write-off now when I'm in a high tax bracket. And then when when I'm in a lower tax bracket, when I have to start taking money out of my IRA or my 401k, I'm in a lower tax bracket. And he said, I bet you won't be, because he thinks taxes are going to go up. And he's probably not wrong. And plus, I probably had put enough money in my IRAs and 401k that I'm still going to be in a high tax bracket anyway. So it does make some sense to consider a Roth. Audible, thank you, Alex. Audible is the thing that she couldn't get out of, I think. I don't want Amazon calling me up. Let's see. Oh, Ed Slott. Yes, Ed Slott's who was on our podcast, Natalie. I just said we had a guy on our podcast. It was Ed Slott. He's a funny guy, and he's a good guy, and he's a knowledgeable guy. So yeah, he has a great book on Roth. Okay, one more thing that I think people really waste money on is investment scams. And this really kills me, because every day you'll see something that says, get 30% return. In fact, in this very group, I had just today, somebody put up something linking to something else, and I immediately erased their post and took them off the site, because you don't advertise your crap on my site. And anyway, crap it is, because these people are going, our returns are 25% a year or 24% a month. I mean, they just say stupid crap. And so this just kills me, because imagine a scenario where I'm making 30% a month. And then I go, you know what? I think I'll tell everybody else about that. Why would I do that? I mean, it's just nonsense. And if you want to start an investment scam, I'm going to tell you how to do it. Here's what you do. Get a list of 10,000 people who are investors. You could buy lists like that. And then you write an email that goes like this. I'm a great stock picker. And I'm going to prove it to you. I don't want any of your money. I'm going to give you these 2 stocks. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going to give you these 2 stocks. And you'll see in a week. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's what you do. You send half of your list one stock and half of your list the other stock. That's what I was going to say. Okay. And then you say, in 1 week, I'll show you that stock's going to go up. Now, if the stock goes down, your list is no good. But for the people where the stock went up, then you contact them again. And you say, okay, only one stock, could have been an accident. Let me prove it wasn't. Here's another stock. And then you divide your list in half again now. Okay, so now you see where I'm going here. One of these stocks goes up, the other one doesn't. When it doesn't go up, that list is no good anymore. When it does go up, oh, that's 2 in a row. Now let me give you 3 in a row. You do it again, divide the list, blah, blah, blah. And now you've got somebody who you made 3 correct stock picks in 3 weeks. And now you go, you know what? Think how much money you would have made. All I'm asking is $500 for an annual subscription to my buy this stock list. And guess what? People will do that because people are dumb. They don't think things through. So basically, I was a consumer reporter for 30 years. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. People hear this over and over, and yet they still fall for this stuff. So don't listen to any stuff like that. I don't care what the return they say is. A, they could be lying. B, they could be cheating. So now let me see if there's any other thing here. Okay, no. I've got one more thing that I can mention, and then we can get out of here if we want. I've got about 8 minutes left. Bank interest always kills me too. I don't understand why you would earn 0.1% when you could get the identical thing somewhere else that's paying 4.5%. I don't know. You know what kills me? People will drive all over town to save 3 cents a gallon on gas or milk or any number of things. And yet they'll let their money sit at a bank account when there's an insured account just like it paying 20 times more. I don't understand why people do that. And yet that's all they do. I mean, really, it just makes no sense to me. Oh, insurance. I mean, there's so many expenses that we have. And, your insurance company knows that you hate shopping insurance. Hell, you probably don't even understand it. And you're sure, and you're scared that they're going to cancel it. I mean, you're not going to shop it around. It's too much hassle. And so you know what they do? They know you're a deer in the headlights. So they just keep raising your rates. And I mean, they know basically by your age, your race, where you live, how long you've been there. They know you're not going to leave. They've got a profile on you. And so what I try to do is shake them up. Shop that stuff. Shop everything like that. You're paying $4 for milk or whatever it costs. I don't drink milk. But you're paying thousands of dollars for insurance. And not shopping it is just simply crazy as far as I'm concerned. I've got another question here. We're just about out of time. I retired taking RMDs, and you were right. The tax bracket does not go down at retirement. I've been doing Roth conversions and will through next year. Yeah, you're right. And I'm in such a, and I don't want to try to brag or anything. It doesn't take all that much money to get in a high tax bracket, but it's really hard for me not to put in stuff and get a deduction on it. Because you know what? One of the things my first tax professor, my degree is in accounting, and my first tax professor said, remember, in the long run, we're all dead. And so his point being, the more you can postpone paying taxes, the better. But now I'm in a situation where I am going to have to start making RMDs, not yet, but in a couple of years. And I'm not going to have any tax-free sources of, if every time you take money out of your retirement plan, you pay tax on it. And you're forced to take out, 3 to 5% a year based on when you start taking it and how old you are. So you have no choice. You have to take the money out, and you will be paying tax on it. And so I have no sources of tax-free income. I kind of hope maybe my tax bracket will go down somewhat, and then I'll maybe do a Roth conversion, but I haven't done it yet. Okay, do we have any other questions? Any other comments? Nope. If we don't, then I'm going to let you guys out of class early today. You guys can go and enjoy your weekend. And as you do, I don't know where... I love you too, Keith. He's a good friend of mine. As you do, I want you to remember that I want you to invest like you're going to live forever and live like you're going to die tomorrow. My friends, thank you very much. And thanks for your referrals. Please drag some more people onto my website. I need it. I'll talk to you again soon. You guys have a great one.